Okay, so here's another piece of the subframe. This part goes underneath the engine compartment. I can't imagine where this is at exactly right now, except for I know that this flange bolts onto the landing gear, and I believe that this tube goes from the back landing gear, and that goes up to the firewall. What's making me think that is this angle bracket that's here, and the angle bracket that's here, and then flat bolts. Any place you see those flat bolts, that's going to be an aluminum bulkhead. Anyhow, I'm going to find where this sits on the regular Robinson when I get back to the other side where there's complete helicopters. But I'm going to take some measurements off of this, and you can start mocking this one up too. And then you'll be able to, maybe we'll be able to get those two pieces, and then there's one more frame support assembly like this that goes on the other side of the helicopter, other side of the engine compartment, that also just holds kind of bulkheads, skids, that kind of thing. I'm not sure where to start. I guess I'm stalling at this point, so I'll start with these two flat brackets. Alright. It's going to be kind of a pain, probably for you and me. Alright, so we'll go left edge. That looks like 2 1/4 from the left edge of each nut. Or I'm sorry, 1 1/4. I started at 1 inch, I didn't realize. That whole tab looks like 2 1/4. Depth of the tab. It looks like 1 inch right there at that line, but that's actually a radius curve. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit of a radius on that curve. It's more like 1 3/16 to the top of this flat edge. And then that hole, oh, it's not actually a 90-degree bracket. Jeez, that's going to complicate things. Should be fun. That's 3/8 on the center of that hole. If you look at the side of that bracket, I don't know what that is, but it's not 90. It's more like 85 degrees. The bulkhead does sit kind of diagonal. And you know what, I see why this is the way it is. The seat backrest sits on the front of this firewall, so when you sit back against this, you wouldn't want to be sitting directly at 90 degrees. So they've done that back by probably 5 degrees. Maybe you can probably measure it better than I can just with the picture. Alright, so the length of that, we're going to go from this top front edge, and then I'm going to go to the surface of where that hole comes through. So I'm going to measure on center, actually, yeah, on the center of that hole, so it's going to be the middle of that, right to that flange. See if I can get that lined up and get an eyeball. 8 1/4. And then you've got that hole to that top flange, and these are 90 degrees opposed to each other. This bulkhead that sits up here, and then that surface there, 90 degrees. They're both flat. Center of that hole to that bulkhead surface is 8 3/4. Sorry, camera's totally pointed in the wrong spot. 8 3/4. That's that dimension. Center of the hole. It is a diagonal, or no, it's a straight hole that comes out. Sorry, because it's a bolt straight through. Next one I'll do is that big long diagonal that goes down from here. And then I'm going to go outside of that tab, on the outside of the tube. Looks like 27 3/4 or 28. It's 27 7/8. Right to the outside of that tube. Just to make this easy, I'm going to do the length of this now, because that's actually pretty cut and dry. So outside of that tab to the outside of that's 26 1/8. This tab on the end, it's a 2-bolt flange. The 2-bolt flange flange itself, you can see the measurement there. It's just about 1 2/3. I'm sorry, not 3/8, like 5/16, maybe a little more. 1 2 3 4 5. Damn, I can't read a tape measure right now. Yeah, 5/16, about that. Not too bad. How are you guys doing? That's a 3-bolt flange. Center to center there is, what's that, 3/4? Just a 16th over 3/4. Can't think right. 13/16. Yeah. That's hole center to center on those little holes. They're like 3/16 inch holes. The height of that bracket itself is 2 1/4. There you go. That's crappy, but 2 3/16, 2 3/16. Got that. I got that. And it's kind of a double flange. The skid support sits right in between here, and then there's a bolt and a nut through. You can see there's a little gusset thrown in there. This tube is kind of interesting. At the bottom it has, looks like a 7/8 radius on the outside, and then just up from that's 1 inch. So it tapers from 7/8 OD to 1 inch OD. And it does the same at the top end of that. I don't think I measured that one yet. So from the outside of the bottom bracket, on the far corner of it, up to the corner there, it's about 34 3/4, right to the outside corner of that. That bracket's the same way. It's about 5 degrees out from 90. Has the same dimension as that first one as far as the width, and it's mirrored on the top though, as opposed to that one which has a single hole. So that dimension there is going to be the same as that face and that face on the top. And then you can see them both right there. They're like 85 degrees. Yeah, because that's a whole bulkhead. That's the bottom of the same bulkhead, and then this is the bottom of the same bulkhead. So this will actually be set off at like that 85 degrees too. Jeez, this thing is complicated. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get this all measured right. Center of that's 11.5 to this point, so where the center of the tube sits, and then out to the center of the tube on the outside of that plate. Those two, that bracket is 1 15/16. Hole centers are, yikes, what is that? 1 inch and 1, 2, not quite 3/8, so it's like 5/16, 1 5/16 hole centers. And those hole diameters are like 1, 2. Jeez, it's hard for me to hold still, hold my hand up in the air like that, sorry. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 30 seconds. Alright, those two holes on the center. I'm not even sure what those attach to. I'm going to find out here though. It's like 9. It's like 9.5 center to center. And as you can see, I laid this thing down. It was standing up like that. This is going to be a pain in the ass to render. Alright, I'll send you that and see how effed up that is.